So Sun officially changes his name in 1952. He says Sun Ra is a business name, and my business is changing the planet.
That's true. I think he did make it an LLC.
Yes.
Which was smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yep. He had a strange gig in Chicago in the mid-50s, which was playing at a mental hospital. John F. Szwed writes...
Sounds like a joke, but isn't.
He shares this anecdote a lot, Sun does. He says... while he was playing, a woman who it was said had not moved or spoken for years got up from the floor, walked directly to his piano and cried out, "Do you call that music?" And he was like delighted by this. So,
yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Success.
That would be one of the greatest accomplishments I could imagine, making a catatonic person walk again from pure hatred of my music.
Yeah.
Or maybe curiosity. I don't know.
Right. So the official orchestra is formed in the 1950s. You know, it's orchestra. It's an ark, like Noah's Ark. Like he's got his whole little like wordplay for why he's talking about it.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So he's at this point, he's a leader. He's a band leader. He's a teacher. He's having these rehearsals. He's having random musicians come in, often musicians who are also kind of on the fringes of who can kind of participate in this musical society. And just some of the examples of how he's coaching people. He'll say, he was talking to I think some sort of horn player. His name was Jackson. Jackson, play all the things you don't know. There's an infinity of what you don't know. Another time he said, you know how many notes there are between C and D? If you deal with those tones, you can play nature, and nature doesn't know notes. He would also instruct people to play music in certain ways by saying, play that apple, play the warmth of the sun. Do you know how water feels? Play that. So like he was not, notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Montessori education of instructing an orchestra.
Yeah, so he's like, I will write all of these parts for you all, and then don't play them. Just feel them.
Just feel them, exactly. He had obviously such high turnover in his band because gigs were scarce. Getting paid regularly was incredibly scarce. You'd always have these insane rehearsals that aren't really great for everybody's minds.
Right.
Yeah, they're ongoing for forever.
Sometimes he said,
look, I may not be getting paid for this, but I'm also being told to play Sky.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
So
I'm losing my patience here.
It's kind of a hard. I feel like you could go one or the other.
Yeah. Sometimes if people wanted to leave the band, he said he would encourage players to take their parts with them, and then he would write new ones so that arrangements would evolve over time.
Yeah. I thought it was a scene where people were like, "Hey, son, I got to get out of here. I'm leaving." All right. We'll keep working on that part with you. No, I'm leaving. Yeah, just keep that part with you. Just keep going. But no, he's like, no, if that guy's leaving that band, I'm writing that part out of the band.
Yeah.
Whole new part for that.
Yeah. George's part, dead to us. Yep. Don't even think about it again.
George's part, canceled. Now Robert's part is my new best friend.
Are you going to mention Pat Patrick? Because the only Sun Ra fun fact I have is about him.
Please share. Please share.
So he was one of like the players that he started playing with in Chicago, and he's just like incredible. I think he was like an alto sax player, and he left at one point to like get married, and Sun Ra's like, how dare you be with a woman or get married or find love outside of music. And he like comes back, and he's basically one of the longest standing players in the orchestra. And his son was the mayor of Massachusetts.
Wait. Deval Patrick, the mayor of the governor of Massachusetts?
Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
The governor of Massachusetts
was the son of a long-term orchestra member.
That's crazy. And that guy,
how do you know how he was as governor? Like any signature?
He's pretty good. Yeah.
But he's also like a mainstream Democrat dude. He's like somebody that like the Pod Save America guys love.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because I've just been going through this list of all the like mainstream lib people who have like radical parents, like Pat Patrick, Deval Patrick, who very well might have run for president this year. He was like on the short list.
What is a short list?
Pete Buttigieg's dad was a Gramsci scholar, like a socialist scholar. Kamala Harris's father was a Marxist scholar who has disavowed her views. Again, Marianne Williamson's dad took the family to Saigon, in 1967 to teach them the horrors of American imperialism. Like all these people have like way out parents and then become like mainstream Democrat. Well, not Marianne Williamson, but the other three are like, squeaky
centrists,
mainstream DNC guys. That's just another one to put on the list.
Yes, add that to the list. And like I don't know, Pat Patrick seems like he's like in and out of the group, but he's very, very important to it because he's super talented. It doesn't really, the book isn't about him, so I don't know how but it's like you have to be really into all of Sun Ra's teaching in theory to even be a part of the orchestra at all, because it's not like you're in it for the money.
Right.
You're in it for the art.
Yes.
I'm just thinking
that's my fun fact.
That's amazing. I'm just thinking about like my saying at one point, like talking to our friend Matthew and saying like, oh, like if I have kids one day, they're going to disappoint me by listening to some like terrible music or whatever. And Matthew's like, no, your kids will disappoint you by joining the army.
Yes.
Like things are going to always swing the opposite pendulum from where parental, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So that sounds like that's kind of like that guy.
Should we finally listen to a Sun Ra song?
Yes. Let's do it.
I've got the first album, Jazz by Sun Ra. I believe this is like 1957. I'm just going to pull one off of here at random because since I do not know this album track by track. I'm torn between Brainville and Street Named Hell. And I'm going to go with Street Named Hell.
Cool.
I mean, this sounds like fairly standard bebop to me. I'm sure a person who actually knows 50s bebop would tell you that it's insane by 50s bebop standards.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of when I've been listening to Sun Ra over the past couple of weeks. I'm like, sounds like jazz. And, this clearly I think is, a bit. But I think a lot of his stuff was like, he rejected a lot of it, even though he incorporated a lot of like bebop or hard bop or what people were doing at the time, but was like, I don't work within this structure because this is a structure and I don't work within structures.
Right.
So it's like important that he's like, I'm doing this, but I'm also doing other things on top of this.
Yeah.
And would, someone's playing the wind.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
There's a good one anecdote I love was like, someone was like, son, what's the sound of one hand clapping? And he's like, the breeze. I'm like, oh.
This does sound a little more bombastic than the bebop that I know of. And I will say that the thing about jazz at this time that I understand is that basically every new bebop album was like trying to write a book and advance the language at the same time. Like every single time one of the like standard artists or like the well-known artists now like Miles Davis or Charlie Parker like recorded a new album, they were trying to like push the language further into a realm that like musical language had never existed in before. So, us now 50 years on, 60 years on, we have heard so much experimental stuff that it's kind of incomprehensible that like playing a series of chromatic notes all in a line is like unheard of until that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain without being an expert in any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say this song grooves.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like a jazz dad is going to bust through our door like the Kool-Aid man and being like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But no, I
Don't
get
you hear how they reinterpolated the fifth and the seventh bar?
Right, exactly. Or like that particular kind of jazz solo with a heavy focus on the low end bass is completely unheard of.
It was
in
not done in
1954.
1957. Yes.
No. This. I mean,
Look, we're not
great.
We're not experts here. We are
Polyglots, polygormons.
Yeah, polygourmands. We enjoy
polygourmands.
We enjoy a little bit of everything.
We do.